You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Right now at 7, Veterans Day was last Saturday, and several area communities came together to celebrate our armed forces. We'll show you how Joplin kicked off their festivities. Also, a car crashes into a restaurant, and we're going to take another look at that forecast and those slightly above average temperatures coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Chris Warner. Just after 7 a.m., that was Daniel Rennie walking by the door. He just smiled at me in a weird way. That's because it's Monday. And it's just after 7 a.m. Our good friend Lori Horton here as well. She's in the studio. She's playing with chords. I don't even know what's going on. This is a Monday morning, and we want to thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. And if you're not, I'm going to do there he goes again. He's just freaking me out. We're going to do everything in our power to make it a great Monday for you as we get going today. So, of course, Veterans Day was on Saturday. Now, now Tim was pointing the camera around, and Lori's sitting over here, and she was looking at it, and she's like, what's he doing? What are they doing? What are they going to do with it? She never knows when she might just suddenly appear. Again, though, Saturday, of course, was Veterans Day, and multiple events took place across the 4 states, and Veterans Day weekend kicked off on Saturday morning with the Joplin Veterans Day Parade. We've got KOAM's Jasmine Knight with this story.
So here we are at the Joplin's Veterans Day Parade, and as you can see, there are miles and miles of entertainment.
The parade took place downtown from 15th to 3rd Street. It highlighted tons of retired and active veterans, all while instilling the sense of community.
Installs a sense of pride, something to defend.
After speaking with multiple veterans, they expressed their gratitude to Joplin for recognizing veterans in such a phenomenal way. They also show support to the veterans that may need a little extra help.
Don't be shy to ask for a hand up. Whether you know it or not, you got it while you were in service, and you can get it while you're out. And they're very merciful.
If you see a veteran in need or someone who's struggling, that sometimes they just need someone to talk to. So just be there and available.
They even spoke on some common misconceptions about veterans and how they will rewrite the narrative.
There are some veterans out there that kind of put a negative light on other veterans as far as they feel like they're entitled or they take advantage of other benefits. I feel like that, every veteran should have a fair shot, and especially those that need help, we need to take the time to help those other veterans.
Despite it all, everyone found a way to have a great time, waving American flags and sharing memories.
Hey, happy Veterans Day, and it's been blessed for me. I hope it's been blessed for all y'all.
So in honor and support of all the veterans all across the world, we would like to say thank you for your service. Reporting in Joplin, Jasmine Knight, KOAM News.
Well, the parade included classic cars and floats, as well as multiple bands and flag teams to honor our veterans. And of course, Caitlin and I were there Saturday morning. It was a fantastic turnout, great day for a parade, and a fantastic way to help honor some of our local veterans. And our weather today is going to be very nice as well, as we're going to continue to be above average as we go through the next few days at least. This is a quick look at our camera downtown Joplin on top of the Cornell Complex. Beautiful start to the day, and the MoDOT camera at 32nd in range line, also looking pretty good this morning as the sun comes on up. We got a nice start out there. Okay, we're good. A little chilly out, 39 in Joplin, 37 in Pittsburgh, so not too far off of where we're supposed to be for this time of year, but not bad otherwise. And our temperatures today, we're going to be warm, above average, as we've got mostly clear skies by the afternoon. Temperatures are going to push into the mid to upper 60s. Some of us may even see some low 70s out there. And then clouds will turn around and start to increase a little later this evening and into the overnight hours. And we will, of course, take a complete look at your forecast and how long the warm weather sticks around here in just a few more minutes. Well, Joplin police say the woman who was struck by an SUV in the Sam's Club parking lot Saturday has died. It happened around 11:30 Saturday morning. Police say the woman was hit as she was entering the store. She was taken to the hospital but has since died from her injuries. The driver was not cited by police at the scene, and we'll have more details as they become available at KOAMnewsnow.com. A restaurant in Carthage is damaged after a car drove into the building yesterday morning. This one happened around 7:30. Authorities say the staff of La Tiendita Authentic Mexican Restaurant and Grocery were trying to open the restaurant when the car came through, plowing through tables and chairs. Police also say the driver was apparently checking the business hours before attempting to leave and accidentally put their car in drive instead of reverse. Neither the driver or anyone inside the building were injured. And the McDonald County Historical Society held their annual membership meeting Sunday, along with a program about Vance Randolph and his Ozark superstitions. Known for his documentation of native Ozark culture and folklore, Randolph's last manuscript had been forgotten for nearly 40 years, but has been rediscovered and will be released as a new book titled Mildred Quit Hollerin'.
A friend of mine about 15 years ago, he gave me an old copy of Vance Randolph's book titled Ozark Superstitions. And I never even heard of Vance Randolph at that time. And I started reading through it and reading it, and I just thought, man, this is fascinating.
There were 250 special editions of Randolph's Mildred Quit Hollerin' at the book signing Saturday evening. The event was held at the Wire Road Brewing Company in Battlefield, Missouri. Up next, Lori. She's in the studio again, and she's got some amazing cookies that we're going to continue to work on. And later, friendships can be made in many different ways. Coming up, we'll hear how one such friendship got started on a different foot. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Now open at 20th and Main in Joplin.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 7:08, and in 5 more seconds, it will be 7:09 out there on this Monday morning. And take a look. This is our camera on the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Great colors earlier this morning, but this still looks like a painting out there. It looks beautiful across the area this morning. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. Got the sun coming up. We got those partly cloudy skies, and they'll continue to clear as we head into the afternoon. And the KDOT camera at 69 East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh, also looking pretty good. Our camera at 7th and range line is catching some of these colors, though, from a different angle, and just look at that. Looks great this morning. A little chilly, though. 39 in Joplin. Feels like 36 with the south breeze at about 5 miles an hour. Temperatures around the region, quick check on those. 37 Pittsburgh, 35 Iola, 35 Miami, and 39 in Carthage. We get our morning started. Initially partly cloudy. Skies will begin to clear. We'll be about 60 by 11. Heading into this afternoon, temperatures warming above average, upper 60s, maybe even some low 70s under mostly clear skies. We head into the evening. The cloud cover works in our favor, trapping some of the warmer air. So we're a little above average tonight, lows in the mid 40s. As we look ahead, we're going to stay above average through Thursday, pushing close to 70. We'll be back to average on Friday with mostly cloudy skies. And then beautiful Saturday out there, mid 60s, pushing near 70 by Sunday, and we're going to start to see a few rain chances building in on Sunday, and those will even carry into Monday, so that will make us a little bit cooler out there. And then we'll bounce back and forth Tuesday and Wednesday, mid 60s Tuesday of next week, mid 50s by next Wednesday. Well, in Falls Church, Virginia, an Air National Guard member stepped in when a woman couldn't pay her dog's vet bill over the weekend. Now the two are using this moment to create a unique friendship. Caroline Patricks explains.
And I tell the Lord, I'm grateful for it all, even though it hurts. Probably the best years of my life.
Still heartbroken from the loss of her dog, Yuki, who died just a few months ago.
So glad you're going to be like my new friend. I know the Lord put us in our paths together for a reason. I know.
On Sunday, Christine Rosalind, who was at the vet with her dog Miko, and Athena Hunting formed a unique bond, and it's all thanks to their four-legged friends.
Look at the boo-boos going away.
Yeah, the tubes are gone.
Oh, what is...
Christine came across Athena and Ziggy at the emergency vet here in Falls Church.
The Great Dane just thought she was a rag doll, I guess, and bit her a couple of times.
Athena was getting Ziggy treatment for severe dog bites.
And so when Athena shared that story with Ziggy, I immediately felt that connection. I know, yes, her spirit's in me, I said, and that's when I prayed about it and I decided to help her.
Unable to pay the entire vet bill, Athena left on a payment plan, but she had no idea that Christine was going to cover the balance.
Looking back 10, 20 years ago, I wouldn't be able to do anything like this. I was in the dark. I have my share of struggles. I know what it's like to be hungry.
Times are, yes, they're horrible, but there is still kindness in the world. And this is what Christine represents. She represents the kind of kindness and empathy.
Just absolutely impressive. A great story there. Well, coming up, our good friend Lori from Celebrations by Lori. She's going to be joining us in the studio to bake some apple pie cookies. They look delicious. Hope you stick with us for this deliciousness. We'll be right back.
Feels good to be home. 5% only at Ashley.
Welcome back to the KOM Morning News on Fox 14. Lori Horton. She was with us in the 6 o'clock hour. She's back. Now, if you missed the 6 o'clock, you missed one of the key things, which was getting this all ready. But
very important.
Don't worry, it'll all be together on our website a little later. So we've already we put everything together.
We made our batter. We made our cookie dough, so to speak. Just that simple Cool Whip cake mix, egg. Nothing to it. Spooned that out with a cookie scoop because, again, it's kind of a sticky, you're not going to be able to really form a ball or do any of that.
And you mentioned to put the parchment paper down because this is a very sticky dough.
Yes, make it a whole lot easier for cleanup after it's all said and done, and a lot easier on getting that off of your pan. But the next step we've got to do is make this apple.
Okay.
We've got the spice, we've got the filling, but we need that apple. And you can get fancy, you can cook up your apples and make that from scratch if you want to, absolutely. But you can also just buy a can of the apple pie filling. The problem with that is our pieces come out really big. So this is kind of a typical slice out of a can of apple pie filling, right? A little awkward to place.
A little more difficult, yeah, won't work so well.
All I did was put this in a smaller bowl and just took a little paring knife and I came through here and diced this up into some smaller, little bit more manageable pieces when it comes to actually putting that on our cookie.
Okay.
So this is my experience pro tip. This gets a little sticky. So I'm gonna take the back of my spoon. I'm gonna dip this in the gooey, the really yummy part of the apple pie filling and just make a little well in the top of that. And by dipping it in that, it's not going to stick to my spoon as much, and I'm actually going to be able to create a little divot for that as opposed to just making a gooey mess on the top that's going to come off with my spoon.
Okay, yeah, we don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that, so we're going to just make that little spot, and then I'm going to come back with a little scoop of those apples. And you don't have to be real precise. They're going to move around. They're going to kind of bake on there and make that nice topping. So don't try to be all precise. It's not going to work.
It's not science, it's art.
No, don't overthink it, as we say. It's just food. So we'll put a little scoop of that on every single one. And then we're going to bake this in a 350-degree oven for about 12 to 14 minutes. This was no magic of television. This was magic of the break room oven. We baked these about 12 minutes this morning. So it was absolutely perfect. And those come off with the bottom. Just a really nice light golden brown.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, you'll be able to kind of see that edge on your paper when it comes out of the oven. So that's your clue that those are ready to roll, right?
These look amazing.
They really are. You kind of have some of those recipes that you really, really love. I can't go past an apple pie recipe of any kind. And this time of year, pumpkin spice gets all the love, but we can't forget that it's apple season.
No, we cannot. And
Thanksgiving is coming. These are going to be a great one for that. But when you get them out of the oven, let them cool for just a few minutes where it's comfortable and they're a little bit set up. Then we're going to transfer these over to a wire rack. And we're going to make that last step, which is a nice little cinnamon glaze to top those with. That's the final step that really brings it to apple pie level. Really delicious. They're good right here. They're good to stop right here. But they're better with the cinnamon glaze.
You've got to get to that final step here. And we are going to get to that final step right after this.
I'm not coming out until Casey's has
pizza. Get the second 50% off. Only at Casey's.
Welcome back to the KOM Morning News on Fox 14. Lori Horton again with us here. She didn't go anywhere because if she did, all of this would be gone by now. Then we wouldn't have a segment right now. So, Lori, we've got another final step. There's one more thing because, like you said, these are great the way they are. but they really need this extra step.
We always have to take things to the next level.
We do.
Can't just stop with good. We've got to go to great.
Absolutely, we do.
I've got in my bowl here just some powdered sugar.
Okay.
I'm going to add a little heavy whipping cream, and you really just sort of measure this with your heart. Don't get too overwhelmed on that. You're going to whisk it together until it's just kind of a nice liquid. And what we're going to do is drizzle it over the top. So that's what you want in your head. How am I going to get this to a texture that has a nice pour to it? So
okay.
Sometimes you get lucky on the first shot. But this is just sweet and vanilla flavored, which is fine. I've got a little apple pie spice.
Okay.
Which is a cinnamon, sugar, nutmeg, all of those lovely little fall spices and flavors in there. And again, you just kind of put some in there. You can give it a little taste, see if it's about right, add more. This is not a precise little step here. This is just for a little extra added flavor.
Okay.
And a little bit of fun. But I'm going to add just a little dash more because I want to be able to see it.
Oh, absolutely.
So we get that in there. Again, now see, you can kind of see those little specks of those spices. You've got a good pour to it. So to make it really simple and a little bit less messy than it has to be, I'm going to take my little sandwich bag. This is a pretty, technical piece of equipment here.
It is.
We're going to pour that in it. And then if I had a pair of scissors, I would cut the corner off of that, but I don't.
We might have some scissors around here.
We might, but we don't have time for that. So we're going to just take our spoon and we're going to take this and sort of drizzle it across the top. What I did on my little rack here, this is just our cooling rack, but put that parchment paper underneath it that I baked those cookies on. Again, a little bit less messy. When we go to clean up, you can leave it on your cookie sheet if that's the last step, however you need to do that. But we're just going to take a nice drizzle across there. You can go as heavy-handed or as not as you want, and you are just going to have a good little sweet extra topping to that.
Oh, no, I like this.
Now that will set up fairly quickly. So you just want to let it cool. Make sure your cookies are pretty cool by the time this goes on there, or else it's just going to sort of melt into them otherwise.
Okay.
But
yeah, we don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that. I mean, it would be delicious also, but we want it to look good and be able to tell that it's still on there. So cookies are nice and cool. We add that glaze on the top and let it kind of set up and cool, and they are going to be awesome. Eat them within a day or two, but that's not usually a problem.
Yeah, I would say they would probably be gone in a minute or two, just based on how they look, how they smell. So
they really break into this nice, cakey kind of a cookie in the center. It's probably a sample.
Okay, let's give it a try.
Quality control,
Oh, absolutely.
Rule number 1 is never eat on television. We just broken it.
I'm all right with breaking that rule. Well, if you want this recipe, of course, we got the information on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Lori, thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple more weeks.
Couple weeks.
All right. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It is now 7:27 on this Monday morning. And, of course, if you missed our segment with Lori, make sure you check it out on our website later this morning, because those cookies with some coffee, amazing way to start your day. And firearms deer season started last weekend, so hunters across Missouri making those final preparations. And if you're going to be hunting from a tree stand this year, conservation experts want to make sure you have a plan to stay safe. One guideline, don't load your gun until you're sitting in your stand. Now, even if the safety's engaged, it's best not to leave anything to chance, because your gun could fall or smack against a branch. It's also a good idea to inspect your tree stand, make sure everything is in good working order, and don't forget to strap yourself in once you're up in the tree.
If you're hunting from a tree stand, always wear a harness or a safety belt. Harness is probably better because it controls more of your body, but a harness or a safety belt. Average height of a tree stand is probably 15 to 20 feet. That doesn't sound like a lot, but if you fall, that could cause a lot of damage.
Now, firearms deer season runs through November 21st. And a mandatory sample collection taking place in Jasper County this past weekend. Firearm deer season, as we mentioned, has opened, and the Missouri Department of Conservation is conducting mandatory sample collections in search of chronic wasting disease in the state. A chronic wasting disease is a prion disease that affects deer, elk, and moose.
Basically, it makes them where they lose their function and they end up looking sickly. But you can actually have a deer that has the disease and is not actually showing symptoms. So that's why just looking at the deer, you can't tell. The only way that you can actually tell is if there's a harvested deer and we actually do sample the lymph nodes. And that's what we're doing here at the station today.
Jasper County is one of 39 counties in Missouri collecting mandatory samples. And community members from Baxter Springs also honored our nation's heroes on Saturday with a program at the Veterans Memorial Park in the city and a Veterans Day parade. It's a special moment for the community to show their respect and gratitude for those who have served our country and for younger generations to learn about their sacrifice.
What I enjoy is going down the street and seeing these little kids, you know, honoring vets, and the fact that today we need to spend more time telling kids about what vets are all about, what protecting our country is all about, and that's important.
The parade started on Military Avenue and began at 11 a.m. And the Boy Scout Troops of America held a flag retirement ceremony in Joplin as they honor and remember those who have fought for our freedoms. Celebration is held in conjunction with their 5 flag swap events held throughout the year.
Because it's respectful to the veterans and I want to respect them. Yeah, it shows respect to the veterans that fought for their lives, just for our freedom for the country.
The hundreds of flags were retired at the event. And the Joplin area already getting in the Christmas spirit. The Ron McDonald House of the Four States invited the community to kick off the holiday season as they lit up their house and 22-foot Christmas tree. Christmas cheer was in the air throughout the evening with musical performances, arts and crafts, story time with Mrs. Claus, and photos with Father Christmas himself, Santa Claus.
I'm very thankful to be here tonight at Ronald McDonald House Charities of the Four States, and I'm glad that they are able to help so many boys and girls, so many kids that are in the hospital and they need, their families need a place to stay and they need somebody to take care of them.
The festivities began at 4 and wrapped up at 7. And the Lowell Friends Church held a bazaar Saturday to raise money for their missions project. Soups, desserts, and beverages were served for donations from 9 to 2. There were also baked goods, arts and crafts, and a white elephant room. And more than 100 people attended this year's bazaar. As we take a quick look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, nothing out there. These little things are not actually happening. We're looking pretty good. A wider view, we have those partly cloudy skies to some clouds that'll be rolling out of here, and we're going to clear out as we head into the afternoon hours before we cloud back up again overnight. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line looking pretty good. We got the sunshine. It's a little muted because we have those partly cloudy skies off to the east, but again, skies will clear by this afternoon, allowing us to go back above average into the mid-upper 60s out there, and some of us, especially in parts of southeast Kansas, could make the low 70s. As we head back into the evening, of course, our temperatures will fall back and clouds will begin to increase across the area as well, but we're not looking too much in terms of rain, unfortunately. However, the clouds will be beneficial to us as we head into the overnight hours. We'll talk more about all that in our full forecast here a little later. And the U.S. has conducted a fresh round of strikes in Syria against targets linked to Iran. This is the third time the U.S. has struck in the region within the last 3 weeks. Oren Lieberman has more.
The U.S. once again carried out strikes in eastern Syria, targeting facilities used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, marking the third time in 3 weeks that such strikes have been carried out. This time, according to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, the U.S. targeted a training facility as well as a safe house in eastern Syria used by the IRGC and affiliated groups. This marks the third time in 3 weeks we've seen the U.S. carry out strikes against the IRGC and its affiliated groups, and that's because of the ongoing attack attacks the U.S. has seen on its forces in Iraq and Syria. As of the latest update on Thursday, the U.S. has seen about 46 attacks against its forces, mostly drone and rocket attacks in Iraq and Syria. Those attacks, according to the Pentagon, have resulted in 56 injuries to U.S. forces, mostly minor traumatic brain injuries and minor injuries. It is because of that the U.S. once again felt the need to act, trying to calibrate the response to send a message of deterrence to Iran while also not escalating the situation. Austin called these precise strikes and says they'd been directed by President Joe Biden. We saw the U.S. target weapons and storage facilities over the course of the past several weeks, again calibrating those responses to try to avoid a further escalation. The U.S. has been watching very closely what's happening with the conflict in Gaza between Israel and Hamas, but it has tried to separate that from the rest of the region. Still, it hasn't been successful in that effort, as groups affiliated with Iran have continued to carry out attacks on U.S. forces. The U.S. responding to those, trying to send a message to Iran not to attack again, while also trying to make sure the situation doesn't escalate unnecessarily and the conflict in Gaza spreading farther in the region. Oren Lieberman, CNN in Tel Aviv.
Let's look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Dog walkers are being asked to do a little more than just walk dogs. We're going to hear how the City of Philadelphia Police Department is asking for their help. We'll be right back.
During the Black Friday Super Sale and free shipping.
The Black Friday Super Sale, on now at Denver Mattress.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We've got with us this morning Kelly Brio and Brenna Ruiz to talk about something that we were just discussing. My mom took me to for I don't know how many years, the annual Cecil Floyd Craft Show. So 32 years this has been going on. So since when I started kindergarten, I think would have been about the first year this went on. So welcome to the show, ladies. Tell me a little bit about the craft show for folks who aren't us, who don't know what it is.
Well, the Cecil Floyd Craft Show is put on every year by the parent-teacher organization, and it's a fundraiser for any activities or items that the school may need. It's our largest event of the year, and we've been blessed for 32 years to have the support of the community. So we have over 110 vendors this year, and it's a juried craft show. So we feel like we're very unique in that we hand select those that get to participate. Truly crafters and artisans attend our event. So it's this Saturday, November 18th at Cecil Floyd Elementary in Joplin. And we have early bird opening at 8 a.m. for those shoppers that want to come and beat the crowds and have great parking. We do that for $10 donation at the door from 8 to 9. And then at 9 a.m. is regular admission from 9 to 4, and that's a $3 donation at the door.
All right. And you mentioned all the vendors, and I know you pretty much fill the entire school building and nearly every classroom. What's it like, for 32 years to be able to have this come together like this each year?
It's a lot. It's a year-round process. As soon as the show ends on November 18th, we are already planning the next weekend to get it started again, with the vendors already reapplying and everything starting to, the whole process is just starting all over.
We've been lucky that we have so many vendors that have been for 10, 15 years that just consistency, and I think the shoppers look for that as well. So we have some familiar faces every year, and we have new vendors every year as well.
Yes,
so we're excited. So it's in all classrooms throughout the school year, throughout the school and into the gym. So it's a great event that'll happen this Saturday.
Right, and as we mentioned, there are lots of folks there, lots of things to choose from. You're going to find something, no matter whether you go there looking for something or not. You're going to find something. What's it like for you all to see the community come together and support this event like they do? Because that school building will fill up with crowds of folks.
It's really awesome because it helps our students, it helps the teachers there at Cecil Floyd. It's our biggest fundraiser for the school. We get to put that money back into the school for the students and the staff. It goes to getting them upgraded equipment for the gym or for the playground. It gives them equipment for electronics, things like that. So it's just awesome to see everyone coming together and supporting us and giving us that opportunity to provide back to the students.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming in this morning. Of course, if for any reason you missed any of that, don't worry. Got it on our website as well this morning. It'll be at koamnewsnow.com. Make sure you get out there and check it out, because I'm not kidding. It is a fantastic event at Cecil Floyd for this craft show. We will be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Know how to couch things in the proper terminology if they believe that the work injury was the cause of the problem.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:42 now on this Monday morning. We still have some partly cloudy skies out there, but starting to look great. Our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown. This is the MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line, seeing a little brighter sunshine. It was a little muted earlier because of those low clouds out there, but beginning to clear out. And plentiful sunshine from the KDOT camera on 69 just south of Pittsburgh. Look at the fall colors in the sunlight. In fact, I don't want to back into anything here. That just looks so pretty out there this morning. So our camera, 7th and range line, looks great. 39 in Joplin, south breeze at about 5, making it feel like 36 out there. 38 Chanute, 37 Fort Scott, 34 Parsons, Iola, Neodesha, 36 is Chatopa, Miami, 40 Neosho, and even though you've cooled back a bit in Monette, still the warm spot sitting at 42 degrees. As we get our morning started, a little bit of chilly start, as we have obviously noted. Partly cloudy skies, they'll start clearing out. 60 by 11, temperature today above average on the order of about 5 to 10 degrees, depending on where you are. So most of us upper 60s, mostly clear skies. Some of us out in southeast Kansas could even make the lower 70s. Now the cloud cover. Clouds will increase as we head into the, the evening and overnight. And we've talked about that thermal blanket, and that'll trap in some of the heat, but because the clouds don't start building in until really late, it doesn't trap in a lot of that warmer air, so we're only a little above average, going back into the mid-40s out there. Temperatures remain above average through Thursday as we push near 70. We'll go back to average on Friday, warming back up as we head into the weekend, and then as you can see, we do have some shower chances out there as a possibility as we head into Sunday, and those shower chances continue into our Monday as well, keeping us a little cooler, upper 50s, and we'll start to warm up a little bit next week, mid 60s Tuesday, and then cool again by Wednesday, so we fall back into the mid 50s. Now, in Consumer Watch this morning, Moody's has lowered its credit outlook of the United States from stable to negative. The move increases the chances that it will downgrade the country's creditworthiness and will lose its last outstanding credit rating of AAA. Moody's cited the nation's worsening fiscal strength and extreme partisanship in Washington as contributing factors behind the move. This comes as the nation is just a week away from a possible government shutdown. Standard & Poor's downgraded the U.S. for the first time since 2011 following a debt ceiling standoff. Fitch Ratings followed suit this past August after the most recent debt ceiling debate. And Americans are becoming increasingly pessimistic about the U.S. economy. That's according to the University of Michigan's Measure of Consumer Sentiment. The report shows a drop of 5% between this month and the last based on preliminary November data. That makes this the 4th consecutive month of decline. University spokesperson says high interest rates and ongoing wars in Ukraine and Israel appear to be spurring the negativity. And it may be the season of giving, but you probably don't want to be too generous with hackers and fraudsters. This holiday season, they're out in abundance trying to get access to your data and your money. Fox News correspondent Dana Marie McNichol has some tips that you can use to avoid getting scammed.
I'm sure you've been told before, don't click on a link unless you're 100% sure it's safe. Cyber criminals are making it harder and harder to determine what's real and what's not, especially with the holidays around the corner. Experts say be vigilant. A popular scam could come in the form of a text message about purchases you didn't make on Amazon, or even your credit card has been locked. A popular tactic this year, a scammer impersonating UPS or USPS with a missed package delivery notification, enticing you to click that link.
Hackers know that clicking on anything is their goal to you because they want to deliver a payload of malware to then get into your life, get into your bank account, and steal from you.
According to data from the Federal Trade Commission, in 2022, people reported losing almost $8.8 billion in fraud, up 30% from 2021. Police departments across America are warning about a phone scam involving callers pretending to be law enforcement officers claiming you have skipped court or there's a warrant out for your arrest.
The caller ID that may seem like it's a sheriff or the police department calling is not necessarily that agency calling you. You can no longer rely on your caller ID. And even if the phone number matches the actual local police phone number, don't go on that.
With the rise of AI, hackers have developed new ways of learning about you through social media to target you more efficiently. In Miami, Dana Marie McNichol, Fox News.
We'll be right back after this, but first, let's take a quick look at those market prices before the opening bell.
Help even more.
Well, dog owners in the Philadelphia area get trained to look out for crime. Fox's Don Timoney has more.
It's not very often dogs are invited to community meetings, but this was all about the dogs and their owners and preventing crime in Lower Merion Township. Dog owners, some with their pups in tow, getting training from Lower Merion Township Police on how to be an extra set of eyes and ears for police when out walking their furry family members.
There's 75 million dog walkers in the country. So most of those people that are out walking, you know, their heads down, they got their phone, and they're not necessarily paying attention.
The Lower Merion Community Watch hoping to change their habits and get dog walkers to help keep their neighborhoods safe by becoming part of the Dog Walker Watch. Officer Darian Swain says top tips: be alert and be aware of your surroundings.
You know your neighborhood probably better than we do, even in a lot of ways. You know your neighbors, you know the vibe, the flow of the neighborhood. So if you see something that appears to be unusual, definitely call 911.
I walk a lot with the dog, and you do notice a lot of things as you're walking around. So I thought it was an interesting concept.
The meeting very timely after a rash of break-ins in Lower Merion and surrounding townships. Certainly a motivating factor for those in attendance.
I heard about all the burglaries in the neighborhoods, and I'm out with the dog all the time and some neighbors, and I thought it might be a good thing just to I get some street smarts as a way to learn how to distinguish between what's legit and what's not.
Dog walkers are often out at all different hours, so they potentially could see something suspicious that might otherwise go unnoticed.
Hopefully it'll lead to making some needed arrests for bad guys that might be surveilling the neighborhood.
I don't know if I can be helpful, but if I can, I will.
The Dog Walker Watch is now in some 3,000 communities and counting all across the country. To find out more about this local effort, you can go to lmcommunitywatch.org.
Certainly an absolutely fascinating project that they have going on out there, and hopefully it will help in the Philadelphia area. We'll be back with the news you need to know and another quick check of your forecast when we come back.
Ashley, this
A four-state hero.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Joplin police say the woman who was struck by an SUV in the Sam's Club parking lot Saturday has died. It happened around 11:30 Saturday morning. Police say the woman was hit as she was entering the store. She was taken to the hospital but has since died from her injuries. The driver was not cited by police at the scene. A restaurant in Carthage is damaged after a car drove into the building yesterday morning. This one happened around 7:30. Authorities say the staff of La Tiendita Authentic Mexican Restaurant and Grocery were trying to open the restaurant when the car came through, plowing through tables and chairs. Police say the driver was checking the business hours before attempting to leave and accidentally put their car in drive rather than reverse. Neither the driver nor anyone inside the restaurant were hurt. And the McDonald County Historical Society held their annual membership meeting Sunday, along with a program about Vance Randolph and his Ozark superstitions. Known for his documentation of the native Ozark culture and folklore, Randolph's last manuscript had been forgotten for nearly 40 years, but has been rediscovered and will be released as a new book titled Mildred, Quit Hollering. And you're going to quit holler because we got really good temperatures out there again today. Above average, upper 60s, low 70s, mostly clear skies, light east breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. We go into the evening, clouds increase. Now, they start increasing somewhat late, so they don't trap as much as the warm air as we'd like, but we're going to be a little above average tonight. Back into the mid-40s. Looking ahead, we hang on to above-average temperatures through Thursday, pushing close to 70. Low 60s, so near normal on Friday. Warming up again heading into the weekend. Some rain chances Sunday into Monday. That cools us down, and we bounce around a little bit. Mid-60s on Tuesday, mid-50s by next Wednesday. So all in all, not too bad out there. And this week you got something you need to get done. This is a good week to do it. Well, some of your favorite Turkey Day fixins arrive at Baskin-Robbins. The company is offering a scoop of ice cream that tastes just like some popular Thanksgiving side dishes until the end of the month. A unique ice cream flavor combines autumn spice and sweet potato ice creams, looping in swirls of ocean spray cranberry sauce and bites of honey cornbread. The ice cream chain says it continues to push the boundaries when it comes to new flavors and holiday items, including the return of its turkey cake. Now, the holiday-themed cake resembles a roasted turkey, including an ice cream flavor of your choice on the inside and caramel praline glaze on the outside. So certainly some absolutely fascinating ice cream desserts and such. In case maybe you're not a big fan of turkey itself, well, it's all right. You can fool the relatives and bring over the turkey cake, and then they'll be a little confused when it's really cold instead of hot and doesn't taste at all like turkey and tastes more like cake and ice cream. But they probably won't be disappointed. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, letting us put the good in your morning. We had so much fun, and by we, I mean, you know, there's more than one of me sometimes. I, and perhaps someone else, will be back with you with more news and weather today at noon. Have a fantastic morning and an even better Monday.